Hello, everyone, and welcome to CHS Dialogue Series by Cyber Harassment Support. I'm your host, Varsha Vaishali, founder of CHS. This conversation today is special because it marks the beginning of our Spotify series, as well as expand this important dialogue across YouTube and Spotify to reach broader audiences and make these conversations more accessible. For those who are joining for the first time, Cyber Harassment Support is a Canadian non for profit organization operating globally across many countries like Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, dedicated to supporting individuals affected by cyber harassment, online abuse, extortion, digital fraud, and related harms. At CHS, we believe that every click deserves respect. You can learn more about our work on our website, chssupport.com, or you can reach out to us at +1 365 351 5396. Today's conversation is very close to my heart because through CHS, I regularly hear concerns, fears, and questions that ordinary people carry in their digital lives. People are not only worried about online harassment anymore, they're increasingly worried about how their personal information is being collected, stored, used, and sometimes shared without full consent and understanding. In fact, I recently delivered a seminar at Central Library in 20 Navy Street, Oakville, Canada, and many participants raised concern about the collection of personal data in everyday situations. One example that stayed with me was when someone shared that even for something as small as a grocery points card, they were being asked personal details like date of birth. That may seem small at first, but it raises very important question. How much personal data is truly necessary? And what happens when information is collected irresponsibly? Irresponsible or excessive collection of data can create major concerns, from privacy invasion and misuse to fraud, profiling, and erosion of trust. That is why privacy is no longer just a technological issue, it is a human issue. Our life now exists across apps, platforms, devices, and increasingly AI systems. From banking to healthcare, from social media to digital identity, our personal information travels everywhere. So, with that in mind, we will be discussing about Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act, PIPEDA, and the broader privacy landscape with our industry expert, Dr. Damodar Sahu. We are honored to be joined by Dr. Sahu, a global expert in data privacy, AI governance, and digital trust. In today's conversation, we will explore Canada's privacy framework, especially PIPEDA, discuss how AI is changing the privacy landscape, and talk about how individuals and organizations can better protect personal data in an increasingly digital world. Dr. Sahu, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Let's start.
Thank you, Varsha, for having me here. It's always a pleasure to talk to you on this show.
All pleasure is mine. Thank you, sir. Let me start with a bigger question. You often say that privacy today is human issue, not just a technical issue. What do you mean by that?
That's a great starting point, Varsha. For many years, privacy was treated mostly as a technical or compliance requirement, something handled by IT teams or legal departments. But the world has changed. Today, personal data represents who we are, our identities, behaviors, preferences, finance, health records, all of that exist digitally. If that information is misused, the consequences are not technical problem. They are human problem. People can face identity theft, discriminations, harassment, financial loss, and reputational damage. So, privacy today is really about protecting dignity, safety, and trust in the digital world. When we protect privacy, we are ultimately protecting people. So that's why I always say it's not a technology or technical problem, it's a human issue.
Absolutely agree. It's a human issue. Let's talk about Canada specifically today. Many people hear the term PIPEDA but may not fully understand what it means. Could you please explain it in simple terms?
Absolutely, Bursa. PIPEDA stands for the Personal Information Protection and Electronics Documents Act in Canada. It is Canada's federal privacy law that governs how private sector organizations collect, use, and disclose personal information in the course of commercial activity. At the core, PIPEDA is built on 10 fair information principles. These includes accountability, consent, limiting data collection, ensuring accuracy, protecting data with safeguards, and giving individuals access to their own information. This philosophy behind the law is quite balanced. It tries to protect individuals' privacy rights while allowing business to responsibly use data in the digital economy. In simple terms, organizations must be transparent about why they collect data, obtain meaningful consent, and protect that data responsibly.
That's wonderfully said, sir. Yeah. At this time, it is very important to collect information carefully. So, when I talk about personal information, what exactly does it include?
Under PIPEDA, personal information is any information about an identifiable individual. This can include obvious things like your name, your address, phone number, or financial record, but it is also includes less obvious things like online behavior, browsing patterns, device identifiers, or even opinions about an individual. In the AI era, data that appears anonymous, right, can sometimes be re-identified when combined with other data sources. So, the definition of personal data has become broader and more complex than ever before.
Yeah, yeah. I completely agree with that. And artificial intelligence is transforming everything today. How does AI change privacy conversation?
Question. It changes privacy in three important ways. First, scale. Systems require enormous data sets to train model. Second, automation. AI system can make or influence decisions about loans, hiring, healthcare, and other important areas of life. Third, opacity. Many people don't know how algorithms process their data or make decisions. These factors introduce risks such as algorithm bias, lack of transparency, and potential misuse of personal information. That's why organizations must move beyond traditional compliance and embrace responsible AI governance, ensuring systems are transparent, ethical, and accountable.
Yeah, you insist more of social thought process than just technological thought process. Absolutely. At Cyber Harassment Support, we work with victims of digital abuse. How does privacy intersect with cyber harassment?
So, privacy breaches are often the starting point for harassment. When personal data is exposed, it can be weaponized. For example, doxing involves, let's say, publishing someone's private information online. Identity theft can enable impersonation. Location data can enable stalking. Strong privacy protection reduces the chances of such harm. So, privacy safeguards are also a form of digital safety.
What should organization be doing today to protect personal data?
Great. Organizations must build privacy into their system from the beginning. Some key principles include collecting only the data that is necessary, obtaining clear consent, protecting information with strong security safeguards, and being transparent about data usage. Privacy by design is becoming critical. Organizations should also conduct risk assessment, monitor AI systems carefully, and ensure accountability for data governance. Trust has become a competitive advantage in the digital economy. So privacy is actually is a trust. If I lose trust with any organizations, private, public, government, state, federal, then absolutely there is a issue. If I don't trust you, then I cannot come to this live show and talk to you, right? So similarly, trust has become a competitive advantage in the digital economy. So that's why you see many organizations they started appointing chief risk officer, chief compliance officer, chief privacy officer, data protection officer, right? And they are not part of this CISO or CIO. They are becoming a different set of CXOs coming under maybe legal or finance, or maybe some I see they report to CEO. Yeah.
Yeah. So very concisely, very important point said that organizations should collect as much data as required with proper consent, not assumed consent, and for what purpose they are taking and for what time they are taking. And every individual has a right on their data and they should have question. And for organization, having privacy is not something that is another investment, but it's something to have market credibility. And once trust is lost, then business is lost.
Absolutely.
What practical advice would you give individuals to better protect their privacy online?
Yeah, there are several simple habits that make a big difference. Be mindful of what you share online, use strong passwords, and enable multi factor authentication whenever possible. Review privacy settings on social platforms and apps. Be cautious about granting permission to mobile apps. And perhaps most importantly, ask questions when organizations request your data. Personal data is
Absolutely. So, where do you see privacy regulation evolving in Canada over next few years?
globally, we are seeing three major trends. First, stronger rights for individuals, including greater control over personal data. Second, increase accountability for organizations that fines, right? 164 uh, plus countries at this moment having privacy law. So fines are very stringent, not in millions, even billions. Emerging regulations around artificial intelligence, like EU AI Act, USSA Act, India is adopting another, India is adopting AI law, right? So the emerging regulations around AI and automated decision making coming up, and Canada is actively discussing modernization of its privacy framework to address these new realities. Ultimately, the future of privacy will be built on trust, transparency, and responsible innovation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, before we wrap up, let's have a quick rapid fire round. One word that defines privacy in digital age. So, let's start. Biggest privacy risk today.
Sorry, say it again. I didn't.
Biggest privacy risk today.
Biggest privacy risk today: uncontrolled data sharing.
Okay, one habit everyone should adopt online.
Think before you share.
The biggest opportunity for AI and privacy.
Responsible innovation.
Okay. So before we conclude, any final message for our listeners?
Sure. So, privacy is not about hiding information. It is about maintaining control over our identity and our digital lives. The AI era, protecting privacy means protecting human dignity, safety, and trust in the digital society. That is what I want to say. But
Thank you, Dr. Sahu, for sharing these valuable insights. And thank you for our listeners and viewers for joining us today. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember, privacy awareness is a first step towards digital empowerment. At CHS, we will continue bringing you more meaningful and relevant conversation on important topics like this to awareness, help raise your awareness about rights online, how to protect yourself in an increasingly digital world. And if you are facing challenges online, remember you are not alone. CHS is here to guide, empowering every voice, ending cyber silence because every click deserves respect. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you, Varsha.